Ciao and welcome to What's Cooking Ari and week 13 of the sweetest kind of death. This week we discussed the illusion of brotherhood without distance. The summer before I started college at UC Irvine, I hurt my knee and not even doing what I loved. Not with basketball, not in a pickup game. I hurt it trying to teach soccer at a summer sports camp, a sport that I knew nothing about. One awkward move, one twist, and suddenly the game that I loved most felt even further out of reach. But I carried that same stubbornness that I always had. If I couldn't play, I would still find a way in. At UC Irvine, I never earned the right to wear their jersey. I never had the stats or the minutes on the floor, but I made myself part of the team anyway. I became what they called a student member. To some, that meant ball boy. To me, it meant belonging. I got to travel with them, practice with them, live in their orbit, and somewhere along the way, I picked up a nickname, Hashish. It was given to me by the team's point guard, Ray McClinkis, who wasn't just anybody. He was the nation's assist leader in basketball in 1995. That nickname stuck. It was a mix of humor, identity, and a way teams always brand outsiders who prove they belong in unorthodox ways. I wasn't there because I was the best. I was there because I showed up. I leaned in and I made myself part of that fabric. And through all of this, my bond with Coach Steve never disappeared. We didn't talk every week. We didn't see each other every season, but once a year I would reach out. A call, a check in, a reminder that I'm still here and I still value this relationship. And then when 2007 came around and I started Persiano Event Rentals, that yearly thread turned into something stronger. We began to reconnect in ways that made it clear our brotherhood had not faded. It had simply stretched across time and distance, waiting for the right season to return stronger. So, this is the part of the chapter that we call the reflection or the mirror. There is an illusion that most people believe that brotherhood requires constant closeness. That if you're not calling daily, if you're not seeing each other weekly, if you're not sharing every update, that the bond will break. But true brotherhood doesn't dissolve with distance. In fact, distance can prove its strength. Brotherhood is not about frequency, it's about fidelity. It's about the small threads, the once in a year calls, the memories revisited, the shared respect that hold when everything else changes. Think about your own relationships for a minute. Which ones do you miss because you don't talk enough? Which bonds do you undervalue because they aren't constant? Some of the strongest ties in your life are not the loudest or the most frequent. They are the ones that survive absence, distance, and silence, and then come back alive when needed. So, how does my definition of love reframe brotherhood in this way? When I look at love and leadership through stewardship, brotherhood is stewarding the bond, even when you're apart. When I look at love through opportunity, through creativity, finding a way to belong, like I did at UC Irvine, even if it means carrying water bottles or being hashish. When you look at love through a vision that unites, knowing the bond is bigger than the minutes on the court or the proximity of life itself. And empowerment through enrichment. True empowerment is giving the bond the time to breathe so that when it returns, it enriches both lives more deeply. And in the bank of time and trust, frequency is not the only currency. Consistency is. One deposit a year, faithfully made, can hold a bond intact for decades. So here is your mirror. Who in your life do you think that you've lost because you don't speak every week? Who do you think has drifted too far? When in reality, the bond might still be waiting intact for you to reach out. Brotherhood, or true brotherhood, does not demand constant closeness. It demands loyalty, even through silence. So here is your kill move for this week. And again, try to accomplish this within the next 48 hours. Step one, write down the name of one person that you've lost touch with, but who once mattered deeply. Step two, within the next 48 hours, reach out. A text, a call, an email, simple words, quote unquote, thinking of you. Step three, don't apologize for the silence, just bridge it. Step four, record it as a deposit because every thread of brotherhood you keep alive is worth more than the constant chatter that lacks depth. So, this is my closing candle of this week. Brotherhood is not measured by distance or silence, but by the return. Ciao. Enjoy your week. See you next week.